Hi AFM students, this is Miss Manvickle, and this is part 3 in your lecture series from Monday, March 23rd, the first day of your not spring break week. And in this lecture, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at a variation of what we did in part 2. So again, I've graphed a point, and I've graphed that point at -3, 4. And I have made that point on the terminal side of an angle. So if we take a look here, I have this obtuse angle named theta, and on that terminal side of this angle, I have the point -3, 4. And I'm interested in finding my 6 trig ratios. So I'm interested in finding sine, cosine, and tangent. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the reference angle. Remember from last week we decided the reference angle was the angle that was closest to the x-axis. So if I take a look at that ray, my reference angle is this acute angle on this side in quadrant 2. I'm working with theta, but I'm using the reference angle to get the numbers I need. Now I'm going to label my sides. My x value is -3, my y value is 4, and I know my hypotenuse is 5. That's my good old 3, 4, 5 triangle. And I'm going to find the sine of theta by using my reference angle. So opposite over hypotenuse is, again, 4/5. Notice that that is y/r. We learned that in the last video, and I want to repeat that because that's a very important point. Now I'm going to find my cosine, which is my adjacent over my hypotenuse, or x/r, and that happens to be -3/5. Remember, it's x/r, and my x value is now negative since I'm in quadrant 2. I'm also going to find tangent, and tangent is opposite over adjacent, but my adjacent side is now negative, -3. So my y/x becomes negative. And if you notice, these two trig ratios are now negative, and only sine is a positive value here in quadrant 2. So the sine of theta, remember theta is this big angle over here. The sine of theta is 4/5. The sine of, or the cosine of theta is -3/5. And the tangent of theta is -4/3. I could find my reciprocal measures, secant, cosecant, and cotangent if I wanted to. But for the sake of brevity, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at these 3 trig ratios. And this concludes part 3. Stay tuned for part 4.